you see the shirt, and that's basically how I feel right now. If you bet on the NBA last night, you understand, because it was a comical day. Let's do a quick recap. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. We're doing Wednesday, best bets in the NBA, October 27th, but we got to recap yesterday, 2-4. We lost both spreads on the hook. Lakers -4.5. Yeah, best I can do is a 4-point victory. Now, granted, if you bet Lakers throughout the day, which I did not know LeBron James was inactive, but they won obviously by 4. You probably got, if you bet Lakers, you probably cashed. But I'll count it as a loss for me. If you bet Mavs -11, yeah, best I can do is a 10-point victory. Lou Dort cashes under in PRAs. SGA cashes over in assists. Julius Randle doesn't shoot well, misses his PRA over by a couple. He didn't need to, because Kemba Walker, we added his under. Yeah, he scored 9 straight points in the second quarter, 19 total. Best game for the Knicks in his Knicks short career. And then you look at it, if you also bet Warriors, which I did not, yeah, they lost on the hook too. So what can you do about that? We have not had any luck going our way these past 4 or 5 days. So I have to remind people, the NBA season, 243 days long. A couple bad days, you can't let them go to heart. We're going to keep getting after it. You just can't be discouraged after a couple bad days. We'll get some luck on our side. We have a new segment coming in tomorrow's video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. You guys have been showing a ton of support, even on the like button, even though we've been in a little bit of a rut here, but we're only down a couple of 4 units on the year after having literally no luck for the last 4 days. So we'll keep going after it. We'll get in the positive one of these days, maybe today. So we appreciate you guys. Let me know your favorite bet down below. Let's get after it today. We're starting with my best bet of the day, Cole Anthony, over 4.5 assists, -120 on FanDuel Sportsbook. The starting point guard / shooting guard for the Orlando Magic has been having quietly a decent start to the season. He's obviously a sophomore in his second NBA season, but Cole Anthony's averaging 15 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 5.8 assists per game. So today we're just targeting his assists. And he's hit this number in 5 straight games. He's had 5, 8, and 6 assists in the last 3 games. In the first game of the season, which is the only one he's missed, he had 4 assists. But the biggest part, though, is the amount of assist opportunities that he is averaging. He's averaging 13.3 assist opportunities per game. That's over 4.5 more than anyone else on the Orlando Magic roster. So he's looking to get his teammates the ball, and all we have to ask is them to knock down shots, which arguably with the Orlando Magic is asking for a lot, but you look at the Hornets are giving up the 6th most assists to all positions, and they have been absolutely getting carved up by opposing point guards. Here are some assist numbers by opposing point guards this season versus the Hornets. You had 8 to Dennis Schroeder, 6 to Marcus Smart, 8 to James Harden, 10 to Ricky Rubio, 11 to Malcolm Brogdon, 8 to TJ McConnell. You see all opposing point guards are absolutely smashing this over. So this line, I believe, should be like -155 or so. I think we're getting good value at -120, or even should be 5.5 at plus value. I don't think I'd take it at 5.5, but 4.5 -120, I'll roll with it. Let's move on to some spreads and over-unders. We're talking about the Wizards Celtics. I'm taking the under 227.5 points, -110 on BetMGM. But you look at it in 3 matchups last season, they went under this number. They weren't even close to it. And if you look at it, and those matchups included Russell Westbrook, who's known for pushing the pace. If you look at it, on the road this season, the Wizards have been struggling. They have not broken 100 points. They scored 98 versus Toronto, 90 points versus the Brooklyn Nets. And both teams ranked 21st and 22nd in terms of field goal percentage, and 12th and 16th in terms of pace. Now, I like this to be a lower scoring game. 227.5 is asking for a lot of points in this matchup. All it takes is 1 low scoring quarter, and you'll go under, because just like that Pacers versus Bucks game a couple days ago, they didn't score any points in the 4th quarter. They went under about a 229 line, 227.5, asking for a lot at home. I think the Celtics will play a little bit better than they have been. They'll play a little bit slower, and Al Horford will likely be back in this one, which should slow down their offense a little bit more. Moving on to a spread pick. Clippers, -7, taking on the Cavaliers, -110 on FanDuel. The Cavaliers coming off a big win versus the Denver Nuggets, and now they get to take on the Clippers team who just beat the Blazers by about 30 points, which is an absolute blowout. Now, you look at it, I think a lot of people are going to say, you know what, the Cavs, they're too big, and they just beat a good Nuggets team, which I'd argue if the Nuggets team is really that good, but this is and they'll think this is too many points, but I'm riding with the Clippers, and here's why. For starters, they got Luke Kennard and Terrence Mann going off the bench last game. Really, no one played well except for those 2 guys. Paul George didn't shoot it too well. Eric Bledsoe, Reggie Jackson, none of those guys shot it particularly well. But more importantly, in their last 5 matchups versus the Cavaliers, the Clippers have won all of them by 17 or more points. And if you look at it last season, the Cavaliers were 10 and 26 against the spread on the road. Now, I understand these are completely different teams and more or less different teams, but still, it's something to note. They did not play well on the road. This season, they're 1-1 against the spread on the road. This is a late game for an Eastern time. If you think about it as a player that plays on the East Coast, well, technically in the Eastern time zone, now they're going all the way West Coast, and now they're playing at 10:30. their normal time. That could contribute to some of the contributing factors. Either way, you look at it, the size does not scare me. If you think the size is going to scare you if you're a Clippers better, well, just look at what they did to Rudy Gobert in the playoffs last season. I'll move on. I'm taking the Clippers minus 7 points tonight, and I think they get it done against that Clippers team at home. Now, moving on, my last over-under, then we'll get into some more player props. We're taking Grizzlies Blazers over 233 points, minus 110 on BetMGM. I don't want to touch a spread in this game because it feels like a trap game if you're a Blazers better because they've not looked good. They just got blown out. Now they're favored against the Grizzlies, so have looked quietly pretty good. But the Grizzlies currently have the worst defensive rating in the NBA, and the Blazers, they're not much better. They're sitting at 17th. Here are the point totals in all 3 games for the Grizzlies: 239 versus the Lakers, 234 versus the Clippers, and 253 versus the Cavaliers. Now the Blazers, on the other hand, they've combined for a lot of high-scoring games too. 202 versus the Clippers, which Blazers offense didn't show up. CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard couldn't really buy a bucket, but 239 versus the Suns and 245 versus the Kings. But more importantly, let's combine them together. The last 4 matchups, 239 combined points, 233, 258, and 275 combined points in the last 4 matchups. You see why I'm taking the over here. Damian Lillard can't possibly shoot worse than he has to start the season. I think 2 for 20 from 3. And CJ McCollum, they'll both push the pace for the Blazers, and the Grizzlies have a young star point guard that will also push the pace for them. And that would be Ja Morant, who we will talk about next, who I'm taking as over 33.5 points plus assists, minus 111 on FanDuel. Just if you don't have points and assists, I probably lean towards his points number, but I like points assists a lot more. Ja Morant, absolute tear this season. I mean, who's to say the Blazers are going to stop him? They haven't been able to stop anyone. Now, so far through 3 games, he has had 37 points, 6 assists, 28 points, 8 assists, and 40 points and 10 assists, cashing easily in all 3 games. In the last game, he missed a free throw to send the game to overtime, and you could see he mouthed to his teammates, and the cameras got him. He said, "It's my fault, guys." And he went to Twitter and he commented on it, saying he has to be better. And he's arguably been insane to start the season, and today I think he proves that. The Portland Trailblazers giving up the 9th most points to opposing point guards and the 6th most assists per game. I do think Portland keeps the game close. I think this should be a back-and-forth matchup, and I'm going to think you'll see Ja Morant have another huge game, and I'm locking him in. Now, moving on to another one that's really undervalued, James Harden over 19.5 points, minus 116 at FanDuel. Yes, the disrespect has gotten to this point. James Harden, point prop below 20 points. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I won't allow it. Now Harden hasn't played great this season, and he's been the focal point of the whole foul baiting, free throw baiting switch in the NBA. But he really, if you look at it, he shot 16 or more times in every single game, and he's shooting just 36% from the field, shot below 41% in every single game this season. The last 2 games, he's had just 14 and 15 points, but he did score 20 points in the first 2 games of the season. I think he gets it going tonight against the very good Miami Heat team, who I think will keep the game close. They're at home. Like I said, Miami will focus. They'll put everyone on Kevin Durant. They'll say, PJ Tucker, go hack him. Do whatever you want. But I think you look at James Harden. He's way too good. 20 points per game over 19.5 points. That's disrespectful. I take it at 20.5 if I had it. This is a guy that's a past MVP, and I think he'll get it back grooving. And I'm calling my shot. I think he gets it going tonight, and we're locking it as over 19.5 points. Now, 2 more player props. Anthony Edwards, over 32.5 PRAs, also playable at 33.5, minus 120 at Caesars. Now, Ant-Man, as I like to call him, he's been having a great start to the season. He's averaging 25.3 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game. He's hit this over in all 3 games this season, and he even told reporters after their last loss to the Pelicans that was a wake-up call, that they need to smarten up and really start to play like a team. And with so many players out for the Bucks, I think the Timberwolves can hang around with them. They are 7-point dogs on the road. This game will be a very high-scoring game, and I think you look at it, Anthony Edwards has shot 21 or more times in every single game. He's going to keep firing it up, and a lot of those shots will be coming from 3, so if you want to take his over in just points, which is 22.5, don't mind it there. But I do think the Bucks, they'll shoot so many threes, should allow for some long rebounds, which Ant-Man has been getting aggressive and getting those boards. Like I said, 8 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game. So I think he gets it done. He's had 9 rebounds back-to-back games. We'll lock it in. Anthony Edwards, over 32.5 PRAs. My last bet of the day, Spencer Dinwiddie, under 7.5 assists, minus 140 on FanDuel. Now, I'd take this up to minus 150 on your book, but truthfully, this should be minus 200 or worse on majority of books. Eight assists is a large number to get to. And I don't need to tell you that. Dinwiddie has done it just once this season, and that was a game without Bradley Beal. Spoiler, Bradley Beal will be active tonight. He had 15 assist opportunities in that game. But in the other two games, he's averaging just 9 assist opportunities per game. He had 11 in one game, 7 in the other. So if you look at it, yeah, you're going to need to cash at a high rate to get over 7.5 assists. Now, I think this number personally should be about 6.5. Probably wouldn't play it at 6.5, but he has 6 assists in both games that Bradley Beal has suited up. But like I said earlier, I think this is a lower scoring game against this Boston Celtics team, and so I'll be taking his under 7.5 assists. A little bit juiced, but sometimes it's worth drinking the juice, and I'm in. Now, another bet that I'm not going to place personally, but take a look at Blake Griffin to not hit a three-pointer tonight. It's like plus 170. He hasn't done it all year, so consider that. But this has been Austin. Let's get some luck on our side. I'll catch you guys again Thursday for some best bets. We've got some new segments coming your way Thursday, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Got some more NBA videos coming out. Podcast will be live as well this morning. We appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing. We'll get after it today. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.